Hi everybody, I'm Greg Herron, and you're watching the second in a series of 4 videos all about percussion that are being brought to you by the Maryland Symphony Orchestra. This video is on bass drum and cymbals, so let's get started with the bass drum. When I stand at the bass drum, I want to be behind it, and half of me is going to be behind the drum and the other isn't. This will allow me to be in a comfortable position to play with my right hand, and also I'll be facing forward so I'll have a clear line of sight with the conductor, which is very important. So, if you recall from snare drum, we want to play the snare drum in the center of the head, and the reason for that is because it'll give us a dry, crisp sound. Now we want exactly the opposite of that from the bass drum. We want it to ring and we want to have a huge sonorous sound. So if we find the center of the bass drum head and then the edge, we want to play right in between those 2 points. The technique is fairly simple. We want to throw the mallet into the batter head. This is called the batter head, and this is called the resonant head. So we want to throw the mallet into that point on the batter head and allow it to bounce off, like so. And that will give us a great sound. Now, let's talk about mallets. You can see I have a lot of different mallets here, but if you're only going to have one mallet, I would suggest something like this. This is what is just called a general purpose mallet. This one's made by Vic Firth, and it's got what I would call a medium soft head. So a fair amount of felt up top, which will give us a nice warm sound. Now if you're only going to have 2 mallets, you want 2 of the same, and that's for playing rolls. You'll notice that when I play rolls, I'm going to hold the mallet that's in my left hand in the traditional grip. I feel more comfortable getting over the hoop of the drum that way rather than playing like so. When I play my rolls, I'm going to use single strokes, as you might recall from the snare drum, just alternating right, left, right, left, right, left. And I'm going to spread out the mallet heads a little bit. I feel this gets the head vibrating a little better. So here's what a roll looks and sounds like. I'll play a few more. Okay, so we've got our single strokes. We have our rolls. Now let's talk about articulate playing, when the rhythm gets a little busier. I'm going to use a pair of mallets like this. This is a very hard end. Now you could hear that these were harder than the ones that I rolled with, but that rhythm could still be a little clearer. And to achieve that, I'm going to dampen the drum a little bit. I have a medium-sized towel draped over the top, so I'm going to put that down here over the head. I'm going to take this clamp here that you can buy them at any hardware store. I got this one for about $1. I'm going to clamp that towel to the hoop of the drum, and that will press it against the drum slightly, and it'll take some of the vibrations out of the head, which will make it easier for my rhythms to be heard. I think you can hear that that rhythm was a little clearer that time. Now that's one way to dampen. Another way is to use your knee to dampen. Now I have a little table down here, and if you don't have a small table, you can use a crate or a chair or anything really to elevate your foot. I'm going to put my foot, you see I'm still standing behind the drum, I'm going to put my foot up on that table, and I'm going to use my knee to dampen against the head. Now I like to throw a towel over my leg because that eliminates any tick sound that would happen if I just put my knee on there without the towel covering it. You can hear a little sound there, and when I put the towel over, it takes most of that sound away. Okay? So, I like this way a little better because I can control the articulation, meaning sometimes I can have it on, and if I want the sound to ring, I can take it off. Okay, so you've got your single notes, your single strokes, you've got your rolls and your articulate playing. If you remember those techniques, you're going to be able to tackle 99.9% of bass drum parts that are ever thrown at you. So now let's go to cymbals. Okay, so here we are at the cymbals, and let's talk about how to hold them. So you can see that the strap runs through it, the knot is on the inside, and the strap runs through the outside. Now it does make a loop, but you don't want to put your hand through that loop. That's a marching band technique, and specifically designed so you don't drop them and you can spin them. But for concert playing, we just want to hold it as a whole, so not through the hoop. So I put my pointer finger all the way forward, and I put my thumb on top of it. And then with my back three fingers, I grip it, and that's really where I get my holding power. I want to have as little of my hand touching the cymbal as possible because that will hamper some of the vibrations. It will muffle it. So I don't want that to happen. Okay, and then we hold the other hand just the same. And let's talk about playing our general crash. What we want to do, and this may sound strange, but we want the top edge to hit first, or the top edges to hit first, and then the bottom edges. To borrow from our snare drum vocabulary, we want them to flam, the booba, flam. The reason why is if we hit them square on, we could catch an air pocket and it could turn the cymbals inside out potentially. I've seen it happen. So what we want to do is we don't want them to go edge to edge. We want to offset that a little bit. Here they are edge to edge. Here I'm pulling it down about an inch, inch and a half. Okay, so we want the bottom cymbal about 45-degree angle, and the top cymbal we're going to offset it, and then we're going to turn that more flat. And what that does is it guarantees us that our top edge will hit first, and then our bottom edges will hit, and we'll get that flam sound, which will get the cymbals vibrating very well. So we want to move both hands actually when we play the crash. The top is going to come in and hit, and the bottom is going to come up. And the motion that we're going to make with the top hand is a circular motion. Okay, so we'll hit here, boom, and continue through. So we're making a circle this way. Now that gets the cymbals vibrating pretty well, but if we move the bottom hand as well, it gets them vibrating doubly well. Okay, so the left hand is going to move up towards the top cymbal, and we're going to make a circle outward. Okay, so this one's going this way, this one's going this way. And that takes a little getting used to. So what you want to do is, just like we did in snare drum, we want to practice hands alone. So first we're going to practice just moving the right hand. And then we practice just moving the left hand. And here's a little exercise that's a lot of fun. Again, borrowing from snare drum, we're going to play paradiddles. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So after you practice that, you'll be ready to do your crash and to move both at the same time. And that's your general crash. If you do those steps, you're going to get a great sound. Now, let's talk about playing softly. That can be one of the most difficult things to do when you're playing crashes, and the hardest soft crash is always the first one. So I'm going to show you a little trick that my teacher showed me for setting up soft crashes. But before that, we need to think about soft crashes reducing in every aspect. And what I mean by that is, remember, we offset the loud crashes, so we're going to offset only a little bit, maybe just a quarter of an inch. And then we talked about the angle being different. We still need to have them at a different angle, but it's very slight. Okay, so everything, including the volume, is going to be reduced. The offset and the angle. So here's a little trick my teacher showed me. You put your bottom cymbal against your body, so now it's not going to really vibrate. I'm going to tap it with the other. You can hear it's not going to vibrate. And then as carefully as I can, I'm going to put the other cymbal against it, trying not to make any noise, and then I pull them off. You see I have a little offset there, just a little bit, and I'm only going to move the top cymbal. I move it away slightly and come in. And after that, you just play the same distance and you've got your soft crashes. Okay, one other topic for cymbals, and that's muffling. With our general crash, sometimes we want it to ring until it stops, but sometimes we have to stop that ring. And to do that, it's very simple. You just pull the cymbals into your body. So I'll demonstrate how to do that. I'll play my general crash. Simple as that. Okay, so with those few techniques, you'll be able to play so many cymbal parts, and you're going to sound great if you practice them. Okay, that's an important part. You got to practice them. Okay, to conclude this video, I'm going to play a bass drum and cymbal duet for you, demonstrating some of the techniques that we talked about in this video. If you have any questions about anything in this video or just anything related to percussion, please drop me a line at herronpercussion@gmail.com. Also, check out the Maryland Symphony's website for future events. Thank you, and I'll see you in video 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.